Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Bay County Board of Commissioners Committee of the Whole meeting today. It's Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. It's 4 p.m. Lindsay, could you please call the roll?
Creed.
Here.
Nemec. Here. Pickett.
Here.
Eason.
Here.
Rupp.
Here.
Dockett.
Here.
Benajak.
Here.
Quorum present.
Okay, thank you. Everyone could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Resolution 2026-142, corrected resolution which was distributed to the board prior to the meeting regarding criminal defense, additional full-time attorney position, PN 10.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would entertain a motion to, I guess we got that approved as amended. Entertain a motion for the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes from 6/2/26.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This is the point of our meeting where we would allow for public input. If there's anyone from the public that would like to address this commission, please step forward to the podium, state your name, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to address the commission?
Mark Kaplinski, 1906 South Sheridan, Bay City, Michigan. Commissioners, Chairman, and Mr. Executive Barsha, thank you guys for giving me a minute to speak with you. You know, you don't see me very often. The commission does a good job, so I don't really have a lot of reason to come down here. I was happy to see, though, that the library board had submitted the 6-year renewal and that you had preliminary approved it. And I was very happy about that. I served on the board at one time, and it was a very controversial issue in this community, and I think you all probably well remember it. And in fact, when I got on the board, I took a hard look, and I sat back and I listened, and I watched everything. And this was my only opinion was that the board had created this controversy. They had taken the library, in my opinion, politically, and the people were sick of it. We built these library systems with an overwhelming support of the electorate, and then we failed 2 millages. We closed the doors. It was devastating. I was there. And when you lose the confidence of the voters, it is a very challenging thing to get that back. People like to know, none of us like to pay taxes, but people like to know what you're going to do with their money. And if you can justify it and bring good reasoning, they will support you. Unfortunately, the board, in my opinion, which I was part of, didn't do that job. And then the voters spoke. And not only did they speak one time, they spoke another time. We were doing 2-year millages, and we were failed. And we locked the doors. It was after we built these brand new library systems. It is a very, like I say, it's a very challenging thing to get that confidence back. But the staff and the board worked diligently for years to get that back. In 2020, you guys approved, and girls approved, a 6-year. And I thought that was a very smart thing. Millages cost money. It places a lot of stress on staff, unknowing whether their position was going to be there, because I was the one that went down the list on the layoff list. So the stress to staff, I understood, okay? So when you guys went to the 6th year, I thought, wow, that's a great idea. And you passed it with a 72% approval rating. Political things in this country in the last 20 years, I think that anybody that could have achieved a 72% approval after a failure 2 times is remarkable. And the job that you guys did in conjunction with the library is remarkable. It's almost miraculous. It's almost unheard of. And so when I seen that you guys had approved this, I thought it was fantastic. And I don't know how many times that you guys get to go to the library. I fortunately do. And I take Everly, and I could go on here for way past 3 minutes on what the library has personally done for me. I learned to read when I was in 9th grade in high school by a librarian, Margaret Burke. I'm a high school dropout, okay? But I did learn how to read in 9th grade by a librarian. And went to college and was successful in college because I could go to a library, and I grew up in a very violent family, and I felt safe there, and I had a place to study. Everly and my granddaughter and my grandson, we go to the library. I'm Papa, right? Okay, hang on a second. All right, and I'll wrap it up real quick here. Okay, but have you guys seen what's going on at the libraries lately? We go there, it is crazy. Sage. I went there to the reading program, right? To my granddaughter there. And the girls walked around with the clicker. I says, how many people here? She said, over 400. I go by word. You can't even go in the door. They've got so many people. The staff has done an amazing job. And I am glad that I stand before you today and that you have approved this 6-year millage renewal to maintain and see what is being done here. I applaud you and I encourage you to support it. And that's why you never see me here, because the county, with your unfunded liability and the whole 9 yards, does a good job. And I am a taxpayer that is appreciative of it. Thank you.
Thank you. There's someone else?
Hello, my name is Carrie Strokridge. I'm a Bay County resident. I would like to thank you all for giving me the ability to speak. I am a library supporter, someone who believes in making thoughtful, long-term investments in institutions that strengthen our community also. As you consider the language for the millage, I respectfully ask that you support the 6-year rather than a 2-year renewal. At first glance, 2 years may seem like a cautious approach, but when we think about what our libraries actually do and what it takes to operate them effectively, it becomes clear that stability matters. Libraries don't just purchase books. They invest in technology, children's programming, workforce development, digital resources, and community partnerships, along with staff development. These are not projects that can be planned 2 years at a time. A 6-year millage allows library leadership to budget responsibly, to negotiate contracts more effectively, and to pursue grants that often require long-term financial commitments, and make strategic decisions that benefit taxpayers. It reduces uncertainty and allows resources to be spent serving the public rather than continually preparing for another millage campaign. Perhaps the strongest evidence that our library system is meeting the needs of people in our community is what happened over the past several months. Since the library was last in the public spotlight, more than 860 new library cards have been issued. Think about what that means. 860 people made the decision to become library users. Families, students, seniors, new residents, people looking for internet access, job assistance, educational opportunities, children's program, and simply a welcoming space. And during the summer, I've had the pleasure of seeing all of the children come out for the Eat Up and Meet Up programs at Wirt and Sage. This isn't a sign of a community turning away from its libraries. It's evidence that the conversation itself reminded people how valuable our institutions are. That's what strong public institutions do. They become partners, they support organizations, they strengthen schools, they help job seekers, they provide opportunities for lifelong learning, And they do this for every resident, regardless of age, income, or background. Libraries are one of the few places left where everyone is welcome, where knowledge is freely available, and where opportunity isn't determined by your ability to pay. As commissioners, you're entrusted with looking beyond today's issues and making decisions that position Bay County for long-term success. Choosing a 6-year millage doesn't simply provide funding, it provides confidence. Confidence to library staff, to community partners, to grant-making organizations, and confidence to the residents who rely on these services every single day. The decision is about more than the length of a millage. It's about whether we believe one of our county's most trusted public institutions deserves the stability to plan, innovate, and continue serving our community at the highest level that they are currently doing. I respectfully ask for you to give the voters the opportunity to support that vision by placing a 6-year library millage before them. Let's demonstrate confidence in an institution that has earned the public's trust, continues to grow its membership, and serves as a cornerstone for our community. Thank you for your time, your service, and your thoughtful consideration.
Thank you. Someone else?
Good afternoon. I'm Barb Hanley-Miller. I'm a retired communication professor from Delta College, and I also want to thank you for the fact that you are looking at a 6-year millage for the libraries. As Carrie just mentioned, and the gentleman before connected with the libraries, we need that stability. And I think we've been through a period where there has been an outcry of support for the libraries. I was there at the library board meetings, and the personal stories were just, heart-wrenching, how much the library meant to people. So I thank you for looking at that stable 6-year millage, as has been mentioned. Our libraries are the great equalizer in our county, in our state, in our country. People from all walks of life can walk into the library with equal status to have access to the internet, to the books that are there, to the ability to print off a job application. So many things happen there. As a retired professor, I see it on campus at Delta, but I know that our students from Delta, those who live on the east side particularly, they're not going to go over to the Delta Library. They use our Bay County library system. We have many high school students who are dual enrolled, who need access to the internet to not only do their high school work, but to do their college dual enrolled work. And we have a lot of areas. I'm thinking of my granddaughter who lives near Munger. Rural internet just isn't that good, right? So they go to the library to be able to do this work. So I just ask you to think about them, and you are obviously, because you've looked at that 6-year millage, and I think that's much more of a solid investment in our community. I think of the libraries as our cultural lifeblood. And we want to feel a pride, and I do feel a great pride in being a resident of Bay County and the fact that we support our libraries, support our schools, and that's really important. So I just ask you to continue to think about and stay with the 6-year millage plan, much more stable for all the reasons that have already been stated. And I thank you for your attention to the library and care of this important cultural institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the commission? Public input going once. Public input going twice. Public input is concluded. Okay, let's move on to petitions and communications. We have a presentation of the 2026 Bay County audit from Raven Romson. I entertain a motion to receive.
Motion to receive. Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are we doing that presentation now or in the, okay. I'd like to invite Doug Dieter up to do that presentation. I'm sure if we're doing it.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Doug Dieter with Raymond. Rebecca Tesoro is here with me as well. She helped lead the audit this year. I want to start off with thanking Scott and his team. They did another awesome job for the county this year. They keep track of everything very well. The audit process I thought was very smooth this year. And, the county is in good shape, as you'll see as we go through these slides. So we did issue the financial statement audit towards the end of June, and it's been submitted to the state. So what you have here today is just a PowerPoint. It's going to kind of do a high-level overview of what's in the audited financial statements. On each page of the PowerPoint, there is, in the top left corner, references to the actual audit report if you want to go to find more information about a specific subject. And I'm happy to answer questions as we go through. Okay, we'll start off where we issued what's called an unmodified opinion. It's basically the highest level of assurance the independent auditors can provide. It means financial statements are fairly presented, and it's considered a clean opinion, the same opinion the county has received over the years. Look at the general fund. It's kind of hard to see on the screen, but everybody does have a printed copy in front of them if it's easier to see that. We're going to take a look at the general fund, which is the main operating fund of the county. This is as of December 31st, 2025. And the balance sheet reports all the assets, liabilities, and the fund balance as of December 31st. You can see there the total asset section at the top was $29.9 million. Very similar to what it was in the previous year. And as it's been in the past, the largest portion of the asset section is your cash and investments, which was about $23 million as of December 31st. Oops. Uh-oh. Thank you. The next section is the liabilities. These are some things that services or products the county incurred prior to December 31st, but did not pay the invoice till after the fact, after December 31st. So total liabilities were $4,293,000. Deferred inflow of resources, the next section of $983,000, very similar to what it was in the prior year. This is some long-term receivables that you can't recognize the revenue until it gets closer to that time, till the money's received. So you have some unavailable revenue for long-term receivables of $765,000. And then there's also some deferred lease amounts related to lease receivables where the county is leasing some property to a third party, and that will be recognized over the term of the lease. The final section is the fund balance. This is the difference between the previous three categories, and basically what's left over to use going forward in the future to support the county operations. This is broken down into 5 different sections. You have non-spendable of about $500,000. This has to do with some prepaid or long-term receivables that aren't collected within 60 days of year end. Restricted, this has a third-party restriction out of $147,000. Committed about $7.3 million, so the county has what's called a budget stabilization process to ensure there's funds available if something happens in the future where you lose some revenue or something, you have some money set aside for that. Signed portion of $2.3 million, that's has been given a purpose so far, but that purpose is kind of unofficial, if you will. It's not as strict as the committed or restricted is. And then the balance is the unassigned portion. It hasn't been given a purpose yet. It can be used for any purpose the board decides. That's about $14.3 million. Next page is general fund revenue and transfers in. So this is a pie chart at the top that I see did not, your printed copy looks right. The one on the screen does not. I apologize. There's no captions on the pie chart on the one on the screen for some reason. So the bottom then shows you what the 2025 final budget was compared to 2025 actual and 2024 actual. The largest portion, as it has been in the past, is your property taxes. It budgeted $19.5 million and collected $20.2 million. And that's compared to 19.6 in the prior year. So you got a small increase year over year, but a lot of that is just the increase in the taxable value of the properties goes up each year, generates additional revenue. Federal revenue budgeted $3.4 million, only recognized revenue about $2.3. This is mainly due to timing of when federal projects occur. You can't recognize the federal revenue until the expenses actually happen, and therefore there's some timing of those projects, and you'll recognize that revenue in the future year. State revenue, very similar to what you expected. Actual was $7.5 million. Charges for services, $3.2. And then your other revenues, budgeted 7.6, came in at 8.9. So this is, a lot of this is your interest, investment returns on your investments. And that actually saw an increase year over year as well because the market continues to go up from that perspective. Transfers in, about $4,103,000. So what that is money came into another fund that sent it to the general fund to use for general fund operations. Next page is the general fund expenditures and transfers out. So the transfers out is similar to the transfers in, but the money came into the general fund and went out to another fund to support their operations. This is broken down by the main functions of the county. The general government and public safety continue to be your two largest functions of the county. General government is $12.7 million compared to a budget of $14.5. Public safety actual is 11.7 compared to 13.7. So the differences here in these expenses kind of tie into some of the revenue explanation I had, where you had some projects that were expected that were budgeted for that didn't happen, that will happen in the next fiscal year. And then you also had some turnover, some empty positions and that type of thing that reduced salaries from your expected amount. So total expenditures budgeted were $51.7 million and actual expenditures were $45.2 million. Next page looks at the change in fund balance. So we look at the total revenues minus total expenses. That is your change in fund balance. The county had budgeted for a decrease in fund balance of $5,243,000. The change in fund balance actually came in at an increase of $1,158,000. And again, that's due to a little better than expected revenues and significantly better expenses than what you had budgeted for. So your fund balance went from $23.5 million to the $24.7 I mentioned earlier. Next item is the pension trust fund. This is as of December 31st, 2025, and we included 2024 and 2023 just so you can kind of get a historical trend of what has happened in the pension trust fund. I will caution you, this is the entire pension trust fund, so it includes investments that are set aside for Bay Area Behavioral Health as well, because they're part of your plan. So this is the county, all of its component units, and BABH is included here. So total assets of $465 million, and then you have a small amount of liabilities. Your assets went up about almost $40 million year over year, which is a good return on your investments. We'll see on the next slide, you actually had net investment income for 2025 of almost $59 million on your investments. So the market continues to go up. You see the return on your investments there in 25 was even significantly higher than it was in 24. And that, so things are going in the right direction. Just keep in mind the stock market starts going the other way, you'll see those numbers come back down again. There were contributions in the plan. The employer contributed $1.8 million. So the employer, that's the county, the component units, and BABH. And the plan members contributed $2.3 million. Benefit payments were just under $25 million. So the change in that position it increased just over $38 million for the year. Same type of information for the VEBA Trust Fund. This is the retiree health care. Total assets of $114 million for 2025, up from $104 million in 2024. And again, this includes the BABH activity. Next page, you can see the net investment income for 2025 on the VEBA investments was $11.5 million compared to 9.7 in the previous year. So again, a continued increase in investment income. Contributions, there are no employee contributions reported here. The employer contributed $4.9 million in 2025, approximately the same amount in 2024. Deductions, there are some admin expenses here as well as some benefit payments going out in 2025 of $5.4 million compared to just under $5 million in 2024. So both the net position in the pension fund and the VEBA fund are 100% restricted, can't be used for anything other than the benefits set forth in those plans. This is a chart of the pension. This excludes BABH, so this is just the county and their component units position. And this is as of the most recent actuarial evaluation of December 31st, 2024. This is a one-year lag in timing. The actuary calculates what the total estimated future liability is for all the retirees, future retirees' benefits that will be paid from the plan. And the actuary has calculated that to be just under $296 million for the total liability out in the future. The planned net position, and again, this is just the county and their component units position, is $353 million. So the county has what's considered a net pension asset or an overfunded position of $57,583,000. Again, that's going to fluctuate significantly based on market returns of how the market does in the future, and as you get more retirees, you'll be paying out more benefits and that type of thing. So the plan is about almost 120% funded. Any questions on that? No? Next page is the contributions that the county has paid. Again, this excludes BABH, so just the county and their component units. The contributions determined by the actuary was $906,000 for 2025. The county actually contributed $1,267,000, so about $360,000 more than what was required. Now, keep in mind here, you might ask yourself, you're overfunded, so why are you still contributing? Not all of the departments, all of the entities are fully funded. So those entities or departments are still required to contribute into the plan until they're fully funded. So you have some departments or entities that are overfunded and some that are underfunded. So that's why you still see some contributions going into the plan during the year. Next slide is the retiree health care, or the VEBA. Again, this is as of December 31st, 2024. The total liability as calculated by the actuary was just over $75 million. The planned net position, or the investments held by the plan to pay that liability, was almost $75.2 million. So this plan switched from a net liability last year to a net asset this year of about $174,000. Again, basically that was all due to investment returns, or the investments keep growing. So this plan is just over 100% funded at this point. The contributions required by the actuarial's calculation for December 31st, 2025 was $3.1 million. The actual contributions were $4.9 million, so about 1.8 more. And again, same type of situation in the retiree healthcare plan. You've got some people that are well-funded and some entities or departments that aren't as well-funded, so they still continue to make those contributions. In addition to, sorry about that. Taking care of me here. In addition to the financial statement audit that I just went over, we did perform what's called a single audit as well. This is required anytime an entity expends more than $1 million in federal awards during a fiscal year. Federal government requires that the compliance with those federal awards is tested as part of the audit process. So the county expended $9,175,000 in federal awards during 2025. That is up about $2.5 to $3 million from the prior year. Most of that was two different things. One was you had additional ARPA, your COVID funding that was spent during the year. And then, as you can see, the first bullet point, the congressional directives, that was about $1.4 million. That was a new program, or new significant program this year. It had a little bit of expenditures in the prior year. So those are the two main changes in your federal awards for the year. We did test 3 different major programs. As I mentioned, the congressional directives, the aging cluster, as well as the Medicaid cluster were tested. And again, same as the financial statement audit, we issued an unmodified opinion, but on this it's related to your compliance. So you fully complied in all material respects with the grant awards that were given to the county. The last slide is just some upcoming GASB statements, accounting and auditing statements that the county will be required to implement in the future. Nothing of real significance here. The GASB 103 will be in effect for 2026 for the county. Not going to change anything that happens internally. You'll see some changes in how things are presented in your year-end audit report is all that's really going to do. It's going to move some things around and get a little different presentation. GASB thinks it's going to provide some additional information to the readers. We'll see. So that's all I had for you this afternoon. If there's questions, I'm happy to address them now.
Vaughn, go ahead.
So I see a couple of clouds down the road. The property tax thing, you know, it's almost half of our income, and I foresee a problem down the road if some people decide they're going to take property tax away, and find some other funding for it, so hopefully that,
Correct. If someone's going to take the property tax away, they're going to find another way to fund a lot of different things.
almost half of our money.
Yeah.
And the other part is the stock market. You know, we've been doing well over the last few years with our investments, and you never know. It's
You
gonna
never
happen.
know.
That's right.
Might
So,
see a correction here in the future.
Otherwise, it looks good.
Good, thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Dockett?
Thank you. So I understand that the numbers, sorry, I'm talking in the microphone.
That's okay.
So I understand that the numbers on the pension and the healthcare are aggregate numbers for all of the business units, and there's an actuarial number, and there's a real number, and I understand that some are underfunded and some are overfunded. But I guess what I don't quite understand is the ones that are currently overfunded, are they still contributing additional dollars, even though the individual business unit is overfunded?
Scott, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question between business units and,
If we pick an individual department and we say, okay, this individual department is overfunded, are we still
I see what you're saying.
required to contribute?
Are you referring to like a different component unit or department?
Sure, we'll use the sheriff's group as an example. Let's say the sheriff's group is funded at 130%, and the actuarial number that we're seeing here in the audit is the aggregate of all of the units, right, of every pension fund that there is. The sheriff's one, I don't know what the real number is, but let's say it's 130%. Are they required by that actuarial number to contribute additional funds, or are they kind of like set, you're good, you don't have to submit anymore?
They're not required to.
But they just are?
Some are, some aren't. It depends.
Okay.
Are some of those employee contributions as well?
yeah.
Is that's included in that? I believe that.
That's
some of
different
that-
outside the contributions.
Oh,
we're
that's
talking about
outside of
here. This
that.
is just
Okay.
employer contributions, yeah.
Okay.
The employee continues to provide contributions whether the plan's overfunded or not, I
Correct.
believe, right, per the contract.
Sure.
But you're right, the department, so the sheriff's, there's different departments that are segregated within the pension plan, right? So you have your general government, and I'm not going to get this right, sheriff's department, I think, is a separate one, right? And then you have Department of Water and Sewer, you have the library, you have roads, they're all separate. So if you're right, if the sheriff's department is overfunded, they're not required to make contributions. If they're right on the cusp of being close, maybe they're just over or just under, and they want to make additional contributions, they can.
Sure. Okay, basically what I'm getting at that I'm concerned with, and this is not related to the audit, but more the budget process, which I know is coming up. You know, the saying is money makes money, right? And so we've gotten to a point where we have a surplus, which is nice, it's great to have. You don't want to end up with too much of a surplus, right? Because that money becomes difficult to touch, and then as, you know, the pension process continues on through several years, it becomes huge and impossible to do anything with. So I'm just kind of curious on the process for that. So that makes sense, though. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
A question about the VEBA funding. Didn't we withhold some contributions on VEBA this year? The county didn't put as much into VEBA as we've done.
Yeah, that would
before.
answer.
Yeah.
Because of the overfunding on employee healthcare, we didn't have to put as
Yeah,
much
we are
money
cutting
as.
back every year a little bit,
Right.
each year, as much as we can.
Yeah, I'm aware for VEBA, but, you know, there are more things than just VEBA. So as we approach, you know, higher numbers, and I realize investments change, a 20% correction is not out of the question. So, you know, I get it, but just something to think about as it continues to grow over the coming years. It will kind of eventually snowball away from us if we're not careful.
Good point.
Thank you.
And I'll add one comment to that. I just put the slide back up for the retirement system. You know, I mentioned the net pension asset of 57.5 million, right? So it's overfunded by 57 million. You had $58 million in investment returns during the year. If that was a $58 million loss, right, your pension asset goes away. It could be that close, so,
You also have to consider retirements and
yeah, timing.
things like that. It's all timing.
Yep. We're good.
Okay.
Anybody else? So I had gotten ahead of myself, and we approved to receive this before we saw the presentation. So I just want to, you know, I'm going to take the vote again. Is there a motion to approve or receive this?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
So make sure I did that in the right order this time. Okay. Under petition communications, item B, Michigan Works, Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works interlocal agreement 2027-2030. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Begic.
So Kristen is here if there's any questions that anybody has. I was on the committee. Each county had a representative to go over the interlocal agreement. We had a consultant that came in and worked with us, and then we had legal that looked at it afterwards. It was approved unanimously by that committee. Then it went to the full board, and Commissioner Benazak and Commissioner Rupper on that one, and it was passed unanimously at that level. So it's been a unanimous vote from all the counties. So I think it's a good interlocal agreement. And Kristen is making the rounds going to 5 counties.
Does anyone have questions of Kristen while she's here? Okay, well, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, under the Bay County Sheriff, item 1, Justice Agreement Grant, JAG, fiscal year 2027. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, Secondary Road Patrol, fiscal year 2027. I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? We have someone from the Sheriff Department if anyone has questions. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. D, Bay County Courts. Bay County Prosecutor Travel and Budget Adjustment for National Children's Advocacy Center Conference 2026. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, Court Administrator, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration Grant 2026. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, Court Administrator, Child Parent Legal Representation Grant and Child Care Fund fiscal year 2026-2027. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would entertain a motion to approve the corrected resolution distributed to the board prior to the meeting regarding criminal defense, additional full-time attorney position, PN 10.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Dockett.
Sorry, I missed the email about the correction. I apologize. Can somebody just fill me in on what the correction was exactly?
It allows for the hiring of that staff attorney up to the 1 year
Okay.
P10 level.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, Health Officer, CPBC Agreement, fiscal year 2026-2027. I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, Environmental Affairs and Community Development. Item 1, Mosquito Control, Extension of Aerial Larviciding Services Contract 2027-2028. I entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, Transportation Planning Division, VCAT's fiscal year 2027 Unified Work Program, PL, and Asset Management Funding. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. G, Personnel, HRIS, Electronic Onboarding and Timekeeping Software and Budget Adjustment. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. H, Finance. Number 1, I would entertain a motion, analysis of general fund equity 2025-26.
Move to receive.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, update regarding Executive Directive 2007-11. I'd entertain a motion to receive.
So moved. Support.
Been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, Information Systems, County Employee Intranet Website with revise. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, Information Systems, Multi-Year Agreement for On-Base Software Maintenance, 2026. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, Information Systems, Multi-Year Agreement with People Driven for Arctic Wolf Software. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, Purchasing, Bid Award for Professional Consulting Services, Bay County Materials Management Plan to GT Environmental, RFP 2026-8. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item I, Corporation Council, Library Millage Renewal Language Certification 2026. I entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion?
Just want to thank all the people who came out and spoke on this topic. We had a lot of discussion on it. I know at the board level, they had discussion on it, and sometimes it's good to get a little lively discussion and find out where people stand on this, and I think it's probably brought the community together to pass the millage coming up in November. If you look at your tax bill, there's a lot of millages on that tax bill. I think I count, 20, something like that. Our responsibility is to try to balance out the taxes and try to maybe make reductions where we can. Sometimes we can't, sometimes we got to raise it, but that's our responsibility is to the taxpayers of the Bay Area, and we take it with due respect that we try to keep it at reasonable levels, and that's why we had a lively discussion on this, and I'm sure we're going to improve it. Thank you.
I agree. And I hope that if, as we pass this bill, that the library board and the staff will continue to be good stewards of the investment entrusted in them. And I hope that the taxpayers agree with that and resoundingly support this law. So, anyone else have any other discussion? I'd like to call a roll call vote on this. Lindsay, if you call, vote.
Nemeth,
Yes.
Benajak,
Yes.
Begic,
Yes.
Beeson,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Docket,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes. Oh, yes, this is approved. Item J, payables general. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support?
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 9, referrals. Are there any referrals? Is there any unfinished business? Is there any new business? Amber, is there any need for a closed session today?
There's none, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Is there any miscellaneous?
I just had, I received notice, I don't know if Matt got the notice about a Army, now if he's Army, but he was military, he was in World War II, was over in the South Pacific and was killed, and they just found his remains, and it's going to be coming back, his remains will be coming back to Bay County, and there'll be a special ceremony coming up, I don't know the time on it yet, but it's from World War II, and so I think we need honor him, and as many people come out as they can for the ceremony.
Anyone else? Are there any announcements? Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Been moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.